we ask you about your 900th? Does it mean something now if there are no more games to concentrate on?
It's a number for sure. It just means I've coached a lot of hockey games. Had a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches and from management down that have put a lot of trust in me. So it isn't about me, it's about the teams I've had and the people around me.
You wanted to finish this season with a win. How do you balance that with just the way that the game went after, sort of the middle of the second period?
Well, when you're playing in a game that I call these a union game, there's really not much hitting. The pucks are going everywhere. You saw the number of breakaways. I think Krebs had 4 breakaways in the game, and they're not easy games to play or players have players motivated. But we talked about coming out and playing winning hockey and just being a good pro, trying to do the right thing. And I thought we got away from it a little bit in the second period, but got in that early goal in the third. But I thought we came back and played a pretty strong third period.
James Rymer says he has a decision to make. He doesn't know what he's going to do. If this were to be his last season, is it nice to see him go out the way he did, play the kind of hockey he did?
He played great hockey. I have nothing but admiration for the year he had. To get picked up, to end up in Anaheim, to come back, to be a big part of putting together a nice run for us. He gave our club a lot of confidence. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad day, and even scary moment there tonight for him, which right back in the net. So you got to give Rhymes. He's a consummate pro, and every day was there, whether it was practice, whether it was game day. The reason he's still playing at his age is he's taking care of himself. You look at his career stats; pretty impressive. So. You got to give him a lot of credit.
I asked you about Payton this morning, and he seems to have reached another level. But just what was going on with him tonight? Just obviously it was a loose game, but to have 4 breakaways in a game is pretty notable.
I pretty well summed it up this morning. If you can just take this morning's notes, so I don't have to do it again. Tonight's specific was he put himself in the right position. He outraced a couple of people. He got himself in the right position. There was, I think, the small battles he won in a lot of places led to big opportunities. So it was like I said, he's, whether it's the penalty killing face-off or whether it's, the late draw 5-on-6 or whatever it is, there's not a task that he's not up for.
The next couple of days are more about the future and where things go from here. But what do you tell your team as the season comes to an end tonight after you guys finish your game?
That discussion will be probably mostly tomorrow because the team was still on the ice there for a long period of time. That we didn't get where we wanted to go. That's the statement. We're not where we wanted to be. That stretch of games that we went through pretty well killed us for the year. And it's like I said, I take full responsibility for where we were at and how long it took us to get out of there. And I don't offer up any excuses except it can't happen again. And I think we've used that kind of as the low part to start building for the rest of the year. And then for a period of time almost fought our way back into position. But the hole was too big.
Kind of game that brings out the best of Ryan McLeod, just the open back and forth with the speed.
I'm not really going to judge. You watch the game. It's a hard game to evaluate in anybody really. They're cheating and they're giving us rush opportunities, and so you go down the ice and you miss a great opportunity because you're getting a great opportunity. Now you miss the net or it goes off the goalie, and they got guys behind you, and now all of a sudden you're facing another rush opportunity. It's not a game you want to evaluate. Is it good for somebody or, you would probably say it was good for Krebs. He got 4 breakaways somehow. So that would be how I would sum this game up.
Lindy, your first day here, you talked about the one percenters, and Alex Tuck broke a record for block shots for a forward today. Is that what you're talking about when
Yeah,
you're talking
I
about the
think,
one percenters?
yeah, you look at all the little things, the block shots, denying the line, the 50-50 battles, all those little things that add up to, by the end, something big. And our details, got better. I thought we slipped up right at the start of the third on a nothing play to make things really interesting in the game. And we hadn't been doing that. Our getting off the start of a period, we've been pretty good. But when you look at block shots and the commitment to, being in lanes when you're caught out of position a little bit, obviously he was the best this year. But there was a lot of guys that gave up their body to keep the puck from getting to our goaltender.
Staying with Tuck, on top of the block shots, he also tied a career high in goals. Just what can you say overall about the season that he had? What he
A good year for sure. Involved in the penalty killing, the power play. You look at the timely shorthanded goals he scored for us. You get to that number because I think he's scored almost every type of goal this year, from the shorthanded, the power play too. You look at around, I thought even this last 20 games, some of his goals around net front, there are a couple games in a row were tips. One was a rebound where, you're battling on your knees. I think at the end, that's the reason you end up with a career high or tie your career high, whatever it was.
You talk to your players for the next 2 days. Is it basically going to be challenging them for the off season to get them ready to go?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we know to a man it wasn't. It's not what we wanted. The challenge is to be ready right off the start. We weren't good enough right off the start, and we dug ourselves a little hole off the start. We battled back, but then went through a tough situation. The challenge is that every guy is better, and if every guy comes a little bit better, we'll definitely be a better team. Thanks.